What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So now that we are more than a week into this new patch, a bunch of really strong competitive players have been posting tier lists, and this is not a tier list as the video title says, but I do want to share some thoughts about who I think is good, who got better, and who I think is not really faring so well off this patch. Now, unlike the Season 3 patch, this matters a little bit more because, again, the Bandai Namco Dragon Ball FighterZ Nationals Invitationals, I know that's a mouthful, is starting next month. So this will be the first time we have official competition for Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3. So the patch before this one, I don't want to call it messing around, but it was really kind of an experimental period. Again, there were tournaments, but you know, they're basically like online tournaments. It's the best we could do. But this patch will be the first time we'll have competition. If you like the content I'm putting out, please consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's start with the bad news. So as we all know, we don't even have to talk about Goku Black and Zamasu. They kind of didn't get so much in the last patch, and they didn't really give them anything at all this patch. Zamasu notably got no changes at all, and Goku Black basically got changes to his assists. So in these two characters' cases, they basically didn't really get things that many people thought they needed. And then we have Frieza. So people were really hyped for Frieza when Season 3 dropped because they gave him a bunch of really interesting changes. But over the course of Season 3, we kind of saw that it didn't really add like a ton to his game, and he still has the same basic problems that he's always had. Season 3.5 doesn't really give him that much. Again, he also only got assist changes. So a notable odd thing to many players is that they didn't really change UI Goku at all. They did say they changed this move a little bit, but at least from messing around, I didn't really notice anything. And people really wanted this character to get nerfed, but I'm actually glad they didn't really do anything to him or Kefla. They are basically the newest characters, and they've had the least amount of time to kind of play around. Plus, there is a lot of counterplay to his stuff, even if it's really annoying. I understand it's kind of obnoxious. This character, you know, there is ways to deal with stuff. Some characters, as usual, deal with it better than others. So if you're playing a character that can't fight it that well, I'm sorry. But if you're playing a character that can fight it well, and I think a bunch of characters can, I think it's actually fine. So there are also a few characters that got a bunch of stuff that people are hyped for, but I'm not really sure it's going to make a huge difference as far as where they stand in the game. In general, I think the main goal with these changes were to bring characters to where the rest of the cast was, because a lot of people did agree that almost everybody was viable, and they're really trying to make everybody viable characters in this game. So in the case of characters like Vegeta, 17, and Videl, they got stuff they all needed / new tools to explore. So for instance, Gogeta got a ton of stuff, and I've talked about it before, of what he really needed. His frame data is way better now. A lot of his moves are faster or travel further, like his new 2M. He can now go from full screen to point blank basically instantly. It makes him really stand out. 17 has air rekkas now, which adds a little bit to his combo game and neutral game, and he could do these in the corner and like get behind you for new mix-ups. I always thought he was a pretty good character, especially more recently, but these things should help people hopefully want to play him. And Videl got some defense tweaks, some faster moves, notably this. This did not use to jail. This move was really slow before. I explained this before, and her damage is much higher than it used to be. One of her issues was that she was a character that generally would like 3 or 4 touch you in a game where everyone's trying to 2 touch you. So now her damage kind of lines up way better with the rest of the cast. Now on top of that, there are another 3 characters though who I feel like their changes might make them really stand out over time, especially people actually try them out. I'm really looking at Krillin, I'm really looking at Blue Vegeta, and Tien for this one. More than anything else, Krillin got a bunch of changes, but the real standout thing is that his normals just travel farther, and for a long time, despite him having other problems, one of the really big issues people had with him was that his normals were just not big enough to compete with characters. This 2M, of course Goku's 2M travels further than before, but even the old one, It was still a really big move. That's part of the reason why people memed it so hard. It was a big move that was fast and it was safe. Or like Teen Gohan, even though he's a small character, he's got this anti-air missile, this great auto combo, sliding 2M. So even though he's small, he does reach really far. Before, Krillin just didn't have these things. So on top of the even more buffs to like how he plays with his neutral, him just having a better 5M to poke with sometimes is just a really big thing that might make people feel more comfortable when they play him. Blue Vegeta got one of the most unique changes I've seen. He has a whiff cancel option on his Ki Blast now. I generally don't like whiff cancel options in fighting games. I'm not one of the people who like whiff auto combos either. I'm just comfortable with dealing with it after playing for so long, but generally whiff cancel options are pretty annoying to deal with. We all get that, but he has a really cool one where he can cancel his Ki Blast into Big Bang Attack or supers, and I think it makes his neutral game really interesting and really makes him stand out as a Vegeta finally, because the other two Vegetas always had their sauce, and to me he was always like, you know, not really special. It's a really good change that makes him a much better defensive character and really good at screen control. Tien changes more than anything else just enable more solo functionality. So he did have this command grab. It's a 24 frame command grab. Most people agree that you'll probably be hit by a 24 frame command grab, but he also has new options like his instant overhead. This move hits around like 17-18 frames, and he already has a really fast cross-up option in his JL. So now when he's alone, he has more options to open you up alone, and he doesn't deal as much damage to himself when he's alone. So they're really hoping that he can be added to the list of canon anchors and that he's good enough alone that more people will pick him. Now, notably, there were not many nerfs in this patch. So the usual suspects like Kid Buu, base Vegeta over here, or like Teen Gohan on this side, or like base Goku, Bardock. None of these characters got nerfs. Depending on how you feel, you might not be happy about this. You might be like, fuck Kid Buu, man, take him out of the game, he's top tier every patch. But it's honestly okay. Now again, you might not believe it, but there are people out there who like playing Kid Buu. There are people out there like myself who like playing base Vegeta. He's a really fun character. There are people out there who like playing Bardock. There are people who like playing these characters. It's not just that they're popular and good. There are also people who really enjoy playing them. So if the goal is to make the entire cast viable, then it makes sense that they generally just leave these characters alone. So for the most part, like base Goku got a change, but it's a minor change. It just changed his B assist so that he gained a little bit more meter. Kid Buu was untouched. Base Vegeta did get a small nerf to his EX kick, and Teen Gohan got assist changes as well. They didn't really touch these characters because they're already pretty popular, they're already used a lot, and you could tell that their whole goal is to just make it so that everyone can be played and all the characters see play. So now we go to the kind of like sus characters, for lack of a better word, where they've just quietly been buffing these characters over and over and over. I'm talking about Cell here, Janemba as well, and also especially Piccolo. So Cell actually is kind of a great story in the game of a character that when the game came out, he was one of the best characters. They nerfed him to the death. Like nobody was playing him after they nerfed him after Evo. In season 2, he was really unpopular. He got a bunch of nerfs, like this move became slower. This move was 7 frames. He was tall, so he was able to get fuzzied. He was one of the first characters people actually started to fuzzy. But since then, quietly, especially like in season 3, they've just been buffing him bit by bit. They gave him this 6 frame back. People are really happy about that. He's always been a pretty flexible character as well. He's always been good both as a support character and a point character. In season 3, he got a bunch of good tools that made him really strong, but then they buffed him again with new combo tools as off his new air perfect attack. So on top of the season 3 buffs, he also has season 3.5 buffs. I've definitely gotten lit up on his channel before for saying he was unpopular. I was saying it from a tournament perspective. He wasn't being played like competitively, especially in the time we're at now where there's no tournaments. A lot of people are playing him, I feel like, and they buffed him again. It seems weird to me that they buffed him, but at the same time, maybe they just want more people to play him. I don't know. So Janemba, I feel like, is a better example of Cell. So when he came out, like, I saw potential in the character, but I was like, man, I could tell not a lot of people are going to play him, so he's not going to get like a lot of shine. They buffed him in season 3, and then they buffed him again. So they buffed his EX gate move, this move, they buffed that, and they buffed his A assist again. And since the character has come out, that assist has been good, and they keep buffing it for whatever reason. So they really trying to encourage people to play him. In the case of his A assist, I think it's such an odd choice to buff it because they were saying that they wanted to buff assists that people don't use. So for example, a good example is this assist from SSJ Goku. Nobody was using that shit. If you played SSJ Goku, you played the beam, that's it. Even when they added more assists, it was still clearly his best assist. Now you have another option. You can use this. I've played against people who've already used this before. It's very fast, has a lot of blocks on. Cool. But in Janemba's case, everyone is picking his A assist. So why would you buff his A assist again? It just seems like an odd choice. Now Piccolo is a really weird one. So his story in the game has been all over the place. People never really know how to judge him as a character because it seems like the system nerfs him all the time, but they always give him stuff that like he just gets through, and then after like 6 to 7 months we're like, whoa, Piccolo's broken, and then he's top tier again. When they nerfed snaps, people basically thought this character was over because one of his main game plans, using Hell Zone after snaps, were gone. He was very good at building meter after these. He could target a character and just kill them basically using Hell Zones. But already we've been seeing that he's really good in Season 3, even without snaps. The main thing being that he could actually do Oki to characters alone. So for instance, if you knock them down here, it does not matter when you get up. So here I actually have the delay stand to be the maximum delay. The orb will just stay there and wait, and when you delay down tech, he actually pulls you out of the corner, and it's a key blast, so you can reflect, yes, but the timing is pretty hard. If you don't do it right, you will be caught in the guard cancel reflect state. So what I mean is, if you don't time your reflect the right way, this is going to happen to you. And then you will definitely lose the character. Piccolo gets really good knockdown setups without assists, and we've discussed before how this is really strong in the game. This is, for instance, one of the reasons why people pick Ginyu, because he doesn't need assists to do pressure in the corner. But on top of that, he also gives characters knockdown who would not have it before. So in this case, Piccolo can set up for other characters. So he's like Kid Buu in this regard, where Kid Buu can mix you up with a bunch of assists, basically everybody, just to oversimplify, and he gives other characters mix-ups. So in Piccolo's case, he gets really strong, really safe knockdown setups, and he gives them to other characters. So why they felt the need to buff a character like this, especially when he was already doing mad damage, they gave him like more combo routes and stuff like that, is beyond me. So probably the last character to talk about here would be Gotenks. So Gotenks, definitely one of those strong but unpopular characters in Season 2 and Season 3. We all do remember in Season 1, in the second half of Season 1, this character was everywhere, and if you want a comparison, like say you've only played Season 2, so you know about GT, he was basically like GT in Season 1. Like a ton of people were playing him. He had a ton of representation in tournaments after EVO. Now he got a minor change that falls in line with other characters, but mostly because it's him, it's a big deal. A lot of characters got combo changes. So like I just mentioned, Piccolo got some, Cell got some, Android 18 is here, she got some, she can like loop this move now. And Gotenks got a combo move change as well, where his air spin works differently. So what happens now is that he gets combos like this. As you see, I did a rejump. Normally he does not have access to rejumps in the previous patch. Now, his long time issue, one of his biggest issues, is that his solo damage was not great. So he was always a weird choice for some people because he was being used as a support character a lot. He had the donut assist, which is like neutral and mix up, which is really nice. But if a character dies, you're in with Gotenks and one other assist, so it could be kind of hard for him to get damage. And then if you played point Gotenks, you usually had to build a team around him because they explicitly made it so it was really hard for him to get block string mix-ups. Unlike Kid Buu, who could just, you know, do it with anybody. So now he doesn't necessarily need assists to do damage. Usually how it ends up working out from what I've messed around with, the assist extensions still do the most, but the rejumps are pretty close in comparison. So this is another one of those, why would you give this character this type of thing? So again, it does line up with a ton of other characters who got like combo changes or combo buffs, but a character like Videl literally needed it. She just didn't do a lot of damage. Maybe like 18 might not have needed it, and Piccolo definitely didn't need it, but Gotenks is another character where you're like, oh, he really does not need this. Now, the good news is, I feel like, and a lot of other players feel like, the game is legitimately in a really good spot, and you could basically pick almost any character that you want to now, which is unquestionably a good thing. There are already some early tier lists being dropped, and I do want to look at them over the next week or so. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.